to Eagle News. I'm Ashton Christensen, and we're going to be taking a look into how people are handling things during this pandemic. We'll also be looking at stores and how they are set up now, and how a high school student is handling the switch from a classroom to a dining room table. And on this week's Questions Time with Jordan, we'll go into issues of money during this pandemic. During this time, stores are trying to stay stocked up and continue operations. Our reporter, Xavier Branch, takes a look into how stores in Gwinnett County are doing just this.
Due to COVID-19, many people have been questioning what comes next. Just last week, Governor Brian Kemp issued a stay-at-home order for all residents who live in the state of Georgia. Despite Kemp extending the executive stay-at-home order until April 30th, many Georgia residents have continued to be out and about still daily. As COVID-19 has continued to spread here in Georgia, as of Wednesday afternoon, we have reported 9,901 cases of COVID-19, with 362 deaths and 1,993 people in the hospital. These numbers have continued to rise daily and have caused people to take the proper precautions whenever leaving their home. All of your local grocery stores such as Walmart, Kroger, or Publix have been trying their best to restock items as people have been buying items in bulk for the past couple of weeks. So good luck trying to find most essential items because people have been buying them up very fast. And make sure you are staying safe anytime going to these stores. Even wearing a mask or gloves, you can still get caught up in cross-contamination. So make sure you continue on taking the proper precautions and keeping not only yourself safe, but everybody that you come in contact with as well. So residents, try your best to stay inside a place with shelter unless you need to get important supplies, food, you're visiting a doctor or a pharmacist, or you're leaving the house to exercise. I'm Xavier Branch, and this is Eagle News.
Some stores are implementing new protocols, like cleaning buggies in between each use. Reporter Tori Pierce brings us more on how shopping has changed from Atlanta, Georgia.
Good afternoon, Eagles. It's the afternoon in Stone Mountain, Latonia, Georgia, where I am, and I'm at the Food Depot Parking Lot Plaza. And you can see it right here. It's basically what's going on right here. This is how people are still treating the quarantine. Basically, it's basically business as usual. Like, nothing has really changed. You have some people have on their masks and some people don't. But I mean, that's just how everybody does it. Everybody's different about it. The CDC says you should be out with your mask, so they're not really following CDC protocols. It's definitely more than a few people at this store and at this chicken store. With this restaurant next to me. People aren't really, distancing themselves, even though in DeKalb County alone, we've had 735 cases as of the 9th today. And we've only had 13 deaths, but the fact that we had that many cases is still, rampant. But basically what's going on is it's business as usual. Nothing has slowed down. And hopefully it just doesn't break out worse than how it already is over here. It's been Tori Pierce, reporting live.
Guidelines on how to protect yourself while going out and shopping can be found on the CDC website. Schools across the country have been making a change from the classroom instruction to at home. I talked to my brother this week to see how he was handling the change, being in high school. Schools across the country are well into the new form of learning. My brother, Britton Christensen, is trying to navigate this switch.
They're having us do our core classes, and they basically just gave us a small packet of work that's pretty much a study guide of what we either had or didn't have in the last quarter of class. Not having a teacher there, it's not that hard. They've given us like PowerPoints and stuff to go over, which has all the information on to fill out the packet. but other than that, it's pretty easy.
At his school in Saraland, Alabama, they mailed a packet for him to complete for his work for the rest of the year.
It's not like being taught to us, it's just something we're reading and just filling in. It's nothing that we're sitting there going over in depth. It's just find the answer, put it here. Considering it's also getting close to the end of the year, I think honestly they could have just gone through and been like, whatever you made it the third quarter or whatever, that was your grade.
Though the workload he received is light, he claims to understand why.
I wish they'd have taken a little bit more time planning everything out, but it was all in a rush and they had to get something out. So, it's understandable.
In this week's episode of Question Time, we talked to Jordan's parents about the impact of COVID-19 had on them and how they are finding ways to save money.
At this point, just staying at home a lot more. I do have a close knit of friends. You know, we've become our social. We stay within our realms of each other. We have 2 outside families that live not far away. So we'll do some outdoor cooking and some 6-foot distancing out in the driveway.
Well, we save money on gas because we're not going out, driving around as much, and we're not eating out as much, so cooking at home saves money. Cut my cable and got YouTube TV. That saved much. I also changed my cell phone carrier. That saved some money.
I work in the food business, and as everyone knows, food, people are not going out to eat. So our company has given everyone a 20% pay cut at this time because of sales being down, 50%. Then they came back the next week and actually had to do some furloughs.
That is all we have for today, and tune in next week at 1:30 to stay up to date with our team and how things are going through this pandemic.